First thing we got to do is the musical alphabet. All right, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now you know the musical alphabet. It's all it is. It goes from A to G, and then it repeats itself. Now you know why these strings are named what they are, because they are tuned to that note. So, E note, A note, D note, G, B, and E again. Okay? 2 E's. That's why it's 88 Dynamite, Goodbye 80. That is what your guitar is tuned to. Now, some guitars have different. They'll be drop D, they'll be drop C. That's why in the back of your guitar I've written down the E standard tune. To the tune and how to tune, go to your apps, wherever you get your apps, and type in Tuneo. It's Tuneo. Tuneo. Okay. So once you have it downloaded, you'll be into a screen like this. So when we hit the open string on this guitar, it was a little tick to the right. So it was a little tight. So I'm going to have to loosen that string a bit if I wanted it perfect. Now all my tuner heads are on the left-hand side. You only have 2 that are on the left-hand side. So those 2 that you have, if you go counterclockwise or towards the head, you're going to tighten the pitch. You're going to tighten that string. If you take these 2 moving towards the body, you're going to loosen the string. All right? Now when you get to the 4 on the other side, it's going to be opposite. Now don't get confused. That's why you have your tuner, okay? So you have your tuner on, you pluck it, it's a little high, you follow it up, you grab your tuner. Okay, I got to go loose, so I'm just going to move it a little bit. What you're going to do, you're going to pluck it again and make sure that needle is going in the direction you want. If it's not moving that direction, then you're doing something wrong. This is when it's good to know the musical alphabet. Now you know you're tuned. E string, A string, D string, G, B, E. All right? We said those are the notes. So if you grab, that's E, the next letter in the alphabet was F. After that is G, and then we said we go back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc., etc. So if you're tuning and a D shows up and you're looking for E, then you have to tighten it to go from D to E. If you hit the open E string and a G shows up, then you're super, super tight and you have to go back the other way. Hopefully you find your mistake by F because it's just following the alphabet if you're going the wrong way, but yeah. That's why the alphabet, musical alphabet, is important to know. Know your strings, just for tuning's sake at least, so you don't break strings and go too far. Back to our drawing. Here's the alphabet. If you hit your tuner, if you pluck that open E string and it shows up as a D, then we know we got to tighten it to move it up. All right? If you pluck it and it shows up an F, we're too tight. We got to go back to an E, so we loosen the string, we pluck it again, move it back and forth. All right? So we know the open E string is tuned to E. We know the alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if this is E, the next note I'm looking for is F. All right? F is first fret, right behind it. That's F. That's your F note. Okay? E, first fret, F. E, F. You can hear the difference, right? All right, so the next string is A. So what's the next letter? B. Here's where we have to know. That's why these guys are in squares, okay? Another acronym for you. You already know 88 Dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Here's a new one. Bacon crispy, eggs fried. This will never change for anything you ever do. Bacon crispy, eggs fried. What that means is on the open E string, right, the first fret was F because E and F always live side by side. There's no space between them ever, 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 ever. Same as bacon crispy. There's no space. There's no frets between a B and a C and an E and an F. Bacon crispy, eggs fried. So the first one was the open E we had. So we know F is next, but E and F are always neighbors. There's no space. So that's why we go to the first one. Okay? On the A string, the next one is B. A and B are not neighbors. Okay? So there's a space. There's a space between C and D, between D and E, and between F and G. Back to G to A. There's one space. Bacon crispy, eggs fried, no space, no frets. Okay? E, open. Next one is F, first fret, because they're neighbors. If I go to the next string, the A string, which is open, the next letter is B. A and B are not neighbors. There's a space. Therefore, you go to fret 2. A, B. A, open, B, second fret. What's the first fret? Don't worry about it right now. You're going to B. Next string, D. Are they neighbors? Nope. So they have a spot between them. So we're going to the second fret, to D to E. So D, E. D, E. Now, if E and F are always neighbors, and if that's E, F is his neighbor, always. That's F. G, it's next. So we go back. We hit G. We're back to A. And we have a space. So G string, second fret, A. Okay? Next string is B. Oh, does it have a neighbor? Bacon crispy. So we want to go to C. That's the first fret. That's C. B to C are always neighbors. E and F are always neighbors. Eggs fried, bacon crispy. The final one, we're back to E again. It's named the same as your thick string. So it's low E and a high E. High E. Oh, E has a neighbor, eggs fried. First fret, F. Okay. E, F. I don't know if I showed you that. E, open E, string 1, fret 1, F. E, F. Okay? So, quick recap. Musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Bacon crispy, eggs fried. They always live side by each. There's no space. As well, we have dots on the neck. They're on the front and they're on the side as well on your inlay. The first dot on every guitar, doesn't matter what you're playing, is always the 3rd fret. You have another dot, it's always the 5th fret. Next dot, 7th, 9th, and then we have the 2 dots. That's the 12th fret. And I mentioned before, this note when played is the same as the open note, E. That's E, 12 is E. That's A, second or fifth string, that's A. Okay? It just repeats. So if you know this, you know this. And don't be afraid to go down there and play. If you know something up here, right? Move it here. Move it up the neck, up here. Just play around, have fun with it. Know what each string is tuned. You know that now. 88 Dynamite, goodbye Eddie. All right? Bacon crispy, eggs fried, always neighbors. So we have the open E. Its neighbor is going to be F. So we go to the first fret, F. Okay? As well, never put your guitar in a closet. Okay? It's going to end up like everything else. It's just going to end up in the closet and you'll never touch it. You don't have to play for 15 hours a day, man. 5 minutes a day, every second day, whatever fits you. Just don't put it away because that's where it'll stay. All right? All right, that's it for this first lesson. Just keep practicing, have at it. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments.